Hey everybody, welcome back to the dumbest modeling channel on all of YouTube, Pitstain Hobbies. Hello, it's your Rebel Commander here, Ian, and we're back on the Shuttle Tydirium. I worked on this a little bit on a live stream last night, but dates and times are irrelevant in the YouTube world. And Jesus, my wife just keeps texting. She's at the mall. She should be fully occupied, right? No, she's telling me about the food court. Okay, back to the thing. Shuttle Tydirum, nice to be back on working on a real model, like a model kit. The part works are awesome, I love them, but I got to catch up with my buddy Donnie. So I'm doing a bunny build on this with Donnie Doherty. Doherty, I can't pronounce. I'm from New York. What do you want? What do you expect from me? I'm doing a buddy build with him. We're going to take these to Wonderfest 2024, and I'm not going to win a prize for this one. Unlike my belt gizmo from last year and my giant 1/20th scale Valkyrie, I highly doubt I'm going to. Maybe I'll get one of those participation awards, you know. But yeah, either way, as usual, Ian Screwed Up stickers, they're all over the place now. Email me your address, I'll send you a sticker. But yeah, Donnie was doing a whole bunch of fiber optics and lighting stuff in the cockpit. So I had to try to play a little catch up. You know what? Instead of lifting my arms up, because that's just so much work for me, I'm nice and sedentary. I'm not a figure painter, okay? Please keep that in mind. So how do you turn two Imperial shuttle pilots into Han and Chewie with a lot of paint? And they also had little hat brims on them, so I had to sand off the hat brims. And there's nowhere for, I mean, you could kind of stand Luke and Leia in the back of that cockpit. But, you know, in the movie, it was like a four-seater, and then also C-3PO and R2-D2 were hanging out in there. The cockpit's not that big on the MPC model. So what we did is we drilled a whole bunch of little half millimeter holes with three or four of these PCB bits, because I kept snapping them in my pin vise. I finally put them in the handy drill, the Tamiya, and they actually stopped breaking as easily. But yeah, we got like 8 or 9 little filaments on each side of the cockpit. Plus we got a green little SMD behind each screen that we filled in with resin previously. And so what we're going to do is we're going to run these lights back. Let me zoom back out a little bit here if we can. There we go. Okay. So we're going to run these lights back into the cockpit. I just love saying cockpit. And then they'll come out in the back here somewhere, and we'll have to get creative in trying to cover up the wires or hide them. I don't know if I'll just use shrink wrap tubing and just leave it like there's a pipe running around back. No one's going to see in there. That's the thing. Once, whoopsie daisy. Once this thing's assembled, plus you have your cockpit screen. I'm not going to say glass. I highly doubt they use glass in cockpits in space in Star Wars. But either way, once you have all that in there, it'll be somewhat limited. Once this little guy, don't rip anything out. Jesus, Ian. Once this is in there, it's gonna. Yeah, you're not going to see a ton back there. So we'll double check it to make sure it doesn't look egregiously like, oh, there's giant fiber optic bundles in there. But we're going to do what we can. I'm never satisfied with being satisfied, apparently. And I really like how these flickering LEDs, go to previous video, you'll see them on and running in the engines. I really like how they look. It's not super duper bright. Because the amount of I guess just the sheer amount of thickness of translucent 3D print material and paint that I put on these. So what I did is I ordered some LED filaments. Now these are really interesting little animals. If no one's messed with LED filaments before, stick around on this channel. I'm going to get some in probably next week. But what I plan to do is I'm actually going to put a couple strips of LED filament either above or below these engine lights to brighten it up a little bit, but you're still going to have this flickering, but it's going to subtle it out. And also the hot spots from these LEDs, no matter how much I try to convince myself I don't see hot spots, I see hot spots. the camera sees the hot spots, you see the hot spots. In real life, they're a little less extreme, but I don't like them. I still see them. So I'm going to put some LED filaments, I think, either above or below or both. Who knows? I bought like 30 pieces of them. They're like 1.5 inches long each. So we could play around with that. And they'll not flicker. They'll just be solid. And then these will still flicker. So hopefully we're going to get the effect my brain is imagining. But my brain imagines some crazy shit from time to time. So yeah, it doesn't always line up with reality. And then the gymnastics I'm going to have to go through to get these wires out of the body of this and into the wings. I'm not even sure how I'm going to manage that. I might have to just snip these off and then just run them into the wings and then just like run them into the body and then solder them back together. I'm not quite sure, but we'll figure it out. Honestly, I wish I could just buy these little flasher boards from Evan. You know, if I just called Evans Designs, I'm sure they'd just sell me some flasher boards with like little wire leads on them that I could just use for whatever I want, because I'm too damn lazy to learn Arduino or buy them and fry them in the learning process. Our fiber optics, sorry. Stay on target. Stay on target. I have a bunch here, so I'm going to randomly take a few of each, randomly, kind of, sort of, and I'm going to glue them to the front of either a blue slow flashing LED or a red slow flashing LED. And then one or two of them I'm going to glue onto a warm white slow flashing LED, just for a few different sparkles and twinkles going on in there. Because we all love twinkly, blinky lights. I mean, come on, that's our favorite thing. Unless you're, you've got epilepsy, in which case you'll be on the floor foaming at the mouth, shaking, which is what my dog does. Not from blinky lights. The poor little guy, he's just got epilepsy. It's fairly well under control now, though. But either way, I'm gonna, I guess, get this cockpit mounted up and get these fiber optics and wires run through into the back somehow, and try to make them up with the front of the ship here. This should be fun. We'll see what happens. I'll be right back. Well, we got our cockpit neck and I know the neck is angled down a little too far on this MPC model. It's just how it is, but we've got all this glued together. We've got our cockpit in there. Han Solo and Chewie from a distance, like you're going to be looking at this thing from a little bit away. And I think they're convincing, even though they were Imperial shuttle pilots. And then once they're behind the glass, even less so. But we'll take that glass off for now. So we got our fiber optics and our wires for our screens. They came out the back underneath and then through here and then down the bottom. And then I slipped some lengths of heat shrink tubing on them to basically hide them. They're just black tubes. So I don't think they're gonna need any special treatment. My buddy Donnie, he put some pieces of black plot plate in there to fill things in. We've did some tulip on the ramp to close that up and seal her up for good, because we're not gonna have the ramp open on this model ever. It's gonna be in a flight position. So we've got all our fiber optics for the left and right side of the cockpit. Cockpit. He said cockpit. I don't think I'm gonna heat these heat shrinks up, because this is plastic fiber optic, not glass, which is why we haven't snapped it and stabbed ourselves and gotten shards of microglass into our fingers. We got our two lights on the back wall here on each side, And this is basically all the lighting for the cockpit. Now, to get these in the model, these two things will tuck under this ramp, and then it's got to sandwich down onto this plate here, and like that. And it all fits, barely. I mean, the added thickness of the heat shrink is a bit of something to deal with, but not really, not much. And then we gotta spread those out because we're gonna have to put our post through this little 45-degree angle slot divot thing here to there's going to be a surprising amount of wire inside of this hull once we're all said and done. We've still got all of this crap to fit in there for all the wingtip formation lights. But yeah, we're making some good progress here. I think what I need to do is, I don't think I'm going to glue this. Should I glue this together now and clamp it? And then, I'm not sure. No, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten these fiber optics up, and I'm going to glue them onto LEDs and get those tested so we can see a full light test of the cockpit for everybody. And we'll be back with that. But basically, I'm gonna peel off a few of these and light them up individually and see which one's which, and then I'm gonna take them and bundle them and what do you call it? Solarize them to an LED light to illuminate the little buttons and switches and bleepies and bloopies that are on the control panels here. And then we got two green SMD like 0805s right in those two main view screens. So it should be quite the light show inside this cockpit when we're done. All right, wish me luck, everybody. I'm diving back in. Okay, well, a lot of fidaddling with SolarRes and some LEDs, and we have 6 different flashing LEDs from Evan Designs, and they're guaranteed to go out of sync because they're not on one circuit. They're not a sync. They're just 6 separate flashing circuits, and they're all slightly random. Chaos theory will ensue, and let's just zoom in there and contact. Okay, and they're all blinking together, and then, uh-oh, look, see? They just start randomly diverging. How awesome is that? And my warm white, and these are all super blown out. They look perfect. In person, the buttons are just lit up and there's a little bit of light coming out of them. Like they're brightly lit, but they're not like glary like you see on camera, because of course cameras and LEDs do not get along very well. And our little view screens are bright and green, and they're pretty bright and green in real life too. They're a little blown out on camera. They're a little deeper green in real life. It's pretty sick. And let's get the cockpit on there. And a nice big smudgy fingerprint, of course, whatever. This identity theft all over the internet. There we go. But yeah, there we have it. That's going to be the effect. That's what you'll see from the model that me and Donnie bought. We each bought one at Wonderfest 2023, and it's going right back to Wonderfest 2024. So, outside my comfort zone for sure. I've worked with some fiber optics before, and LEDs, of course, but this is way, way more advanced than anything I've ever done with LEDs and fiber optics. This is crazy. Thank you to Donnie for blazing the trail on this one, so I had an idea of how to do this and where to go on this. He's been a fantastic help so far during the entire build, and he will be for the rest of it, I'm sure. I think we're helping each other a little bit, because I started doing some things that he wasn't doing. I started at the back of the ship, he started at the front of the ship. But that being said, oh boy, This thing's pretty badass, and I got to cover all these blobs of solar res and LED bulbs with tulip to light block them. I don't want a whole disco party going inside the hull there. I know the stormtroopers are probably getting down and boogieing inside of there, or the rebel troopers in this case. I'm building the rebel Tydirium. Donnie is building the Imperial shuttle with Vader. So yeah, maybe the rebel troopers were having a little bit of disco on the way down to oh God, where were the Ewoks from? How did I forget? Endor. Oh, Jesus, Ian, you would have really gotten eviscerated for that one. I would have had to send out all the free stickers. So either way, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Pit Stay and Hobbies. Adios, everybody.